how's it going? Today we're going to go over another page of my sketchbook, and in this one we're going to go over this sketch I did in my own personal sketchbook of Chucky. Chucky from Child's Play, one of my favorite kind of movie franchises ever. They made a new one about it. I'm going to talk about kind of a couple of things that I did in order to make this, kind of highlight this sketch, and I'm also going to have a pretty big announcement at the very end of the video, so stick around. If you are interested in kind of drawing this way, stick around for the video, guys. All right, let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. All right, Chucky. This is actually this is actually a sketch that I started a little bit ago. First off, right off the bat, what I used this pencil, and this is just a generic mechanical pencil. I don't like to use traditional pencils like this, for example, like HB. I mean, I do use it for certain projects, but generally I don't like it. If I'm gonna ink it later, I tend to use this because it's thin. If you actually start using this, let me do this on another page so I don't ruin Chucky here. So when you're using just a straight up regular colored, did I say colored pencil? Regular mechanical pencil. When you're using that, the edge never dulls. So that's kind of to your benefit, right? You never have to sharpen it. It never gets this big, wide, nasty edge along the pencil. And the idea is that obviously, like the benefit of all pencils, you can erase it. And I think, in my opinion, you can erase this better than you can a traditional HB pencil. Because when you're using this pencil, you're making a little bit of a wider area naturally, unless your pencil's super sharp at all times, but it will dull over time. So you get this kind of messiness to it that it sometimes is good, but for the way I'd like to kind of eventually ink it, and I'm doing line art specific stuff, I'd rather have a clean, thin line that is very easy to erase. Like very easy. You're just gonna go back, see, it's like I barely pushed down on that and it's gone. But that's why I enjoy using mechanical pencils for stuff I will ink, just to kind of make that clear to you. Not for everything. So this is actually an HB2. It's a 0.7 mm. I forgot the mm stand for millimeter. But it's not important. Use any type of mechanical pencil. I highly recommend it. So what I would start with, if we're looking at Chucky here, I would start with literally kind of the way you were thinking. I would start kind of messy and more or less thinking of a general pose. So I'm thinking of the general pose that Chucky does, but I'm thinking of like a stick figure, and see, like as I'm kind of doodling it in, I'm not thinking that hard. I'm doodling it in because, and I'm actually very confident doing that because I know that the line is so thin, because this mechanical pencil is so thin that I could pull some of these back. I mean, obviously there's a point of diminishing returns. If you do it too heavy, you can really grind into this. This is sketchbook paper, so this is computer paper, this is sketchbook paper. If I was to do that too much, it would grind into it. You'll have this like thick line on the paper, so then when you erase it, you're gonna see like the indentation in the paper. So don't do it too hard, but just do it within reason. That would be like the kind of process, the thought process that goes behind it. And I would noodle in this particular sketch, and I don't recommend everyone do this. I was noodling around. I was noodling around just different shapes and toying with them. Very similar to when you think of someone as a sculptor. When they're sculpting clay, you have this kind of mass of clay that you want to sculpt into a figure. It's very similar to that with drawing, though. I need to have something on the page for me to correct. And I've said this many times that some people consider drawing just a series of corrections to lines that you put on paper. So you gotta put it out there. That's why it's very important to not be afraid to draw, not be afraid to take risks. You just dive right in and you auto-correct as you're doing it. So I'm gonna say that again, and I really want you to, especially if you're new at drawing, I feel like 90% of people don't get this who are new, like brand new. If you really want to learn to get better at this stuff quick, dive in, make your mistakes, right? Just dive in and then auto-correct as you're doing it. I feel if everybody had just done that from the beginning, people would be a lot better, a lot quicker. That took me so long to get that. And when I started getting that, it's like, oh, okay, I have to actually put stuff down. I have to, not just be very tentative about every line. I mean, you can do that later, noodle around later all you want, but toward the beginning, you really want to put stuff down. You could kind of. I see some people. I have a really. I'm sorry. It may be hard to see that because I won't alter the video quality. Hopefully, you can see the lines I put down. And I know it's so hard to see because that's another thing. But I know with people, I'll just use this pen to make it obvious. I have a friend of mine. He'll just one line, and then he's like going down. And he starts it that way, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think wait till you have a little more experience before you start pushing that direction. Otherwise, you are probably gonna waste your time. You might put in like, if you go that slow, you might put in an entire head, but the proportions are wrong. The eyes are too low, and all of a sudden you can't move it, or it just takes forever to move. So that's kind of the major takeaway from this. Is using this mechanical pencil and how thin it is. So we'll recap, okay? Using the mechanical pencil over a traditional pencil, at least if you do plan on inking it. If you're doing a straight up traditional tonal drawing with shading, like you need to side the pencil, of course use this. Actually, I kind of still start those with this, but then move on to this. But the benefits of the mechanical pencil is that it's a thin line, it's less messy, and it kind of lays a framework to the rest of it lets you adjust things much more quickly and painlessly than a regular pencil. But that's my opinion, by the way. If you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments. So let me let you know, that's the the tip of the day. So that's how I did this entire thing. After that, I used the microns. And I talked about that in my other video. I use these microns. They're essentially really thin pens. And I'll go over a tip on that in another video. And I actually did go over that in the last video. And I use a Faber-Castell for the large dark area. This is a thicker kind of almost marker. It's essentially the same thing, just thicker. So let me make an announcement. I'm starting a Patreon. And I feel like through the actual year, Halloween tends to, obviously, the spirit tends to go down. But there's some people that really still want videos, information, just things of that sort. And it's honestly not, I have to support myself, so it's not really feasible for me to make that many videos related to Halloween through the year. Even though I enjoy it like crazy, because I'd rather do that than even my regular channel. I love Halloween. So I opened the Patreon, and for $1 I will continue everything. I will continue to upload two times a week, every Monday and Thursday. I'm gonna upload videos, and then sometimes I'll upload sketches with how-tos. I will even upload occasionally I'm gonna upload ebooks, kind of toying with ideas right now, but that is up right now. For anyone that's really into Halloween and Halloween drawing through the year, that will be up for you guys. It's kind of my passion project, so the link is below. If I forget to put the link somewhere, I'll put it somewhere in the top of the page, but that's gonna be the majority of the content's gonna be on there, so stuff will not slow down on my Patreon. Stuff will not slow down Halloween wise. I'm gonna go through a lot of stuff. Talk about a tremendous amount of things drawing related to horror drawings and to Halloween, and kind of in the safety of a hub where I know people want to see it. On YouTube, you get a lot of variety of people that they do want to see it, but they don't care that much. So I do feel like anybody that would join the Patreon right off the bat I know they're into it. Like, I know who my audience is, and I appreciate you guys. Everybody's done a lot of great stuff. Also, I think with me, in terms of like Halloween, it's usually about 3 months where I would say starting September, and then that feeling comes over where like, oh yeah, Halloween's coming. Early September or August, I'm actually thinking about it a little bit. Then September gets in, and it's like you start building up this holiday, and it's like, wow, Halloween's my favorite holiday, and you start building it up. And it just usually turns out to be a letdown. You know, I mean, it's still good, but in terms of what I do for it, like the spirit I get into for Halloween, it's always a bit of a letdown. It's always like I imagine it much more happening through the month of October. I mean, I guess it's Inktober, but I don't see that as directly Halloween related. So, but yeah, I wanted to kind of keep that spirit alive, and the only way I can keep it alive, I feel, is through a Patreon group, which is self-sustaining. It'll be self-sustaining, and that's the way I feel it is. But yeah, that's it. That's for the hardcores. We'll see how you guys enjoy that. Go to the link if you are interested in that. I'm gonna start posting. What day is today? I'm gonna start posting next Monday. Next Monday, everything's gonna start, and I guess I can call it the official launch. But the page is up now. Go check it out. All right. Thank you, and I will see you guys later. I'll still be posting here a little bit, but not very much. Over there, it's gonna be really active. All right. Thank you.